Now the setup that we have, let me show you the setup before we get into the integration. This is our 192.168.128.6, and we have another box .3. 3 is not accessible, I think. Okay, 3 is accessible. Now the 3 is the one that where we have our the second node of SOA cluster. What we're going to do today is, this is the setup we're trying to create today. So this one, see, this is our SOA. This is the first box, 192.168.128.6, and then we're going to have a second box here. We have the 192.168.128.3 box. Alright, here we have a SOA infra, SOA domain. So server 1 we have, then we have a server 2 here, means the clustered one. This is another SOA infra that we have created. Alright, these two are in a cluster. These two are in a cluster. What we're going to do is we're going to create a OSB domain here. The same box, and then integrate it. Let's create a OSB domain here. This is going to be our OSB domain. Alright, on the second box is where we are creating. Our database is still here. This is where our database is. So infra is using this database. Now the OSB domain is what we are going to create, which means your steps for installation. Again, we have to recreate the entire domain of OSB. Means we have to have Weblogic. On top of Weblogic, we'll be installing OSB just like SOA. On top of OSB, we'll be creating a domain. So I'm going to save this structure. Alright. Now the OSB domain, once we create it, OSB will have its own proxy server, a proxy service. So here, this is a proxy service. This is a business service. Alright. The business service ideally should integrate with any of the SOA infras. So here you can actually put it to this one, or you can put it to this one, or if you have OHS, we can actually send this to OHS itself instead of doing so and for 1, so and for 2. We can send it to the OHS. The OHS should actually take care of redirecting it to the backend. Alright, so then we have a proxy service here which we have created. We just have to test it here. If you test it from here, that's going to be our testing. So this is the front end part, OSB. OSB in turn may directly contact source server 1, source server 2 in a way like service pooling kind of thing, load balancing across source server 1 and source server 2, or we can put a OHS in between, which is here. Right, OHS might act as a load balancer between server infrastructure. Right. Now the installation steps of OSB are roughly these things. You need to install JDK, Weblogic, because OSB again is a Weblogic domain. So on Weblogic you will install OSB. On OSB installation you will create Osb Domain. Now this creation may optionally require a repository. Optionally require a repository using archive means you may want to store whatever this OSB doing into your database for reporting purposes. Like SLAs, let's say if you want to set up SLA rules, you may want to store all those metrics somewhere. Another requirement is if you have OWSM, the OWSM requires a backend schema. So there are two parts or additional features of OSB that may require a database setup. One is for reporting, and the second one is OWSM. Now to keep it simple, in our case what we're going to do is we're going to say we don't need these two. That way we will not be touching the database part. So the OSB in our case does not have any database. We are not implementing OWSM in OSB, and we'll say the metrics we are not collecting. So that way our OSB is going to have only these 4 steps. Once we create a OSB domain, then we go ahead and integrate it. Means we will create a business service, then we'll create a proxy service, and finally we will call the proxy service and see if the business service is calling something in server infra. Let's say the server infra has a demo application here, the demo application that we have used. This is a demo application, for example. Let's say the demo application means if you send any string, it will return hello, that string. That's the demo application we've been using. So but the testing we will do it from the proxy service of OSB. Means OSB is what we are calling. OSB should call the business, proxy service should call the business service. Business service should in turn invoke the demo application. So let's see how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and do this installation. In this installation, the JDK Weblogic installation will be using the old one. The OSB installation, again we have a problem like OHS. So this we will be doing it under another directory like middleware 1 or middleware 2, let's say. Middleware 2, this is where we'll be doing the OSB installation. So JDK Weblogic are already there. We'll be doing middleware 2, another installation OSB, and then we'll go ahead and create the Osb domain. Alright, so we're not creating any repository for this Osb domain because these two things, reporting and OWSM, we are pretty much discarding. So let's go ahead and create that domain. Alright, so I'm going to follow this document. In this document there are slight changes. So this one, install JDK Weblogic under middleware home. Then the second part is what we are going to skip. We will not be doing any repository creation utility, so because we don't need OWSM, we don't need metrics collection, also we don't need. Then we'll install the OSB. So first and third steps are what we are doing. The second step is what we are skipping. Alright, so the entire thing will go on to the second box. In the meantime, I will also be starting all our infrastructure like SOA cluster, OHS and everything. Alright, parallelly. So let me first start with the second box. Let me go to second box, see the current structure. Alright, this is the second box. Let's go to, we already have a cluster node on this one, the second node of the cluster. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this OSB file on box 1. So this is what we have. The white screen is box 1, the black screen is box 2. The IP of the white screen is 6.192.168.128.6 and the IP of the black screen is 3.192.168.128.3. So we'll be installing our Osb domain in the second box, this 3 box, right? First things first, I'll transfer that installation file. This is our installation file, OFM OSB generic 11115 disk 1 of 1 zip. So this I'm going to transfer it to the second box, into this location. One 192.168.128.3, this location. Okay, this is going to take about 5 minutes. In the meantime, I'll start the database and everything else for our SOA cluster. Switch to Oracle, start the database. SQL plus /SSDBA. Start up.
పొద్దున్న ఇప్పుడే వచ్చారు.
database is up. Let's start the SOA server, SOA admin server. Oracle. We'll be working on the cluster. One user project, domains, and code B3 cluster. Start the admin server of the SOA cluster. Okay, the admin is up. Let's start the SOA server. Also, I'm starting the SOA server on the second box. Middleware user projects, domains, and code cluster. Start SOA server 2. This is the second SOA server. This is the first one. In the meantime, the transfer is going on. It's about 80% complete. The SOA cluster is almost up. transfer is complete here, guys. So the server cluster is still coming up. Let it come up. We'll come back to that one later. So let's continue with OSB installation. So I have the file ready for installation. This is my file. Alright. I'm going to unzip it into my OSB kind of directory. Unzip -d my OSB, the file name. Alright, this is done. So let's go to my OSB. Disk 1. This is our installer. Now to run this installer, we're going to run it in. So this is our OSB, guys. Now before we go into OSB, let's look back at the steps we have. JDK, we already have JDK. We're going to use that one, which is the one that we use for cluster. So this is the JDK we're going to use. Alright, and then the Weblogic, it's already installed under Oracle middleware. The same Weblogic we're going to use. Alright, but the OSB is what we're going to change. Means instead of installing it in the same directory, we'll be doing it under middleware 2. Alright, so the first two are already there, JDK, Weblogic. OSB installation is what we are trying to do. Now for the OSB installation, the silent file response file, this is just like SOA, guys. I will be using a installation file. Look at the document here. So this one. After unzip, create the response file. This is the response file. The below options. This is available here. It comes with your the file itself, the disk itself. Let's go to disk 1 stage response. You have a file custom install type. You have to change certain parameters here. The two parameters we will be changing is Oracle home, means this is where the Oracle OSB you want to install. Middleware home, this is where your Weblogic was already installed. Typical, you're going to make false. Custom, you're going to make it true. Service bus examples will be true. Service bus IDE is going to be false. This is the Weblogic home that you have already installed. Alright, and then this is another thing that just Oracle Enterprise Pack for Eclipse, OEP. You just give this path. It doesn't actually get installed, but in some cases if you don't give anything, it's throwing out an error. So give some path here. You can actually delete this directory later. Alright, apart from that there is nothing else. Then this is your script, my OSB install.sh. Then you have disk 1 run install, silent, your response file, then inventory location, GRE location, log file, finance, just like your SOA installation. Alright, so let's go ahead and set up this response file first. So we are done with the first two steps. JDK is there, Weblogic is there. OSB installation is what we are trying to do. We have extracted the file. Now we are creating a response file. So the response file, is in the extracted directory itself. Go into disk 1, go into stays, go to response, student OSB3 my OSB disk 1 stays response. This is the file we're going to use. Alright, let's copy that file into disk 1 location. Copy this into so this is our disk 1 location. Alright, PWD, this is disk 1. We want to run this one, but we'll set up this custom install type first. So open up this file, specify download location, nothing, skip software updates, true, software updates, download location, nothing. Oracle home is what you're going to give first thing. This is where it gets installed. So let's give the Oracle home, which is our middleware 2. Let me open another session to that box. So the students OSB3, so B3 Oracle here we're going to install it under middleware 2. Alright, it's in our document. So this one, Oracle home is where you're going to install OSB. So here change this middleware thing. So we'll be creating another directory for OSB. So come back here, Oracle middleware 2 Oracle underscore OSB. This is going to be our location. Middleware home is going to be this. Apart from this, typical is false, custom is true. Install the Oracle Service Bus examples. Oracle Service Bus IDE, you can set it to false. We don't want the IDE, Service Bus IDE. WL home is what we need again. The one that we have already installed. We have installed Weblogic under this. This is our WL home. So I'm going to take this, put it in here. That is WL home. OEP home, you can give anything you want really. It doesn't really matter. So let's say we give, it's not usually required, but sometimes it's throwing an error. So OEPE, just giving it directory here. Alright, so go ahead. That's it. That's your response file. The important things are Oracle home, where you want to install middleware home. Into this middleware home, Oracle common actually goes in, and then your Weblogic home. It's where it picks up your Weblogic from. There are 3 directories, that's it. Save it, close it. Your installer is ready. Now let's go ahead and I'm going to SCP this file also. the install file, my install.sh. Alright, so this is your file. This is our installer, disk 1 installer. Let's change whatever we have. Students Osb3 my OSB disk 1. This is your file. So let's change the paths. The installer is in the current location itself, so I'm going to change it. Run installer silent response file is this thing. Alright, give the location, which is this. Now one more thing, always remember when you're installing in silent mode, these things have to be always in complete paths. These things, they have to be absolute paths. Their relative paths, they won't work. Means / response file is not going to work. This inventory location, you can give anything or installation location. I think we already have this one somewhere. And so we have, I think. Yeah, this one. It simply has two parameters. One is where it goes in, means all the list of Oracle products will go into this directory. Which group is installing this one. So you can keep this file anywhere you want. Let's say we will copy it to our own location, OSB location. Alright, so our location is this thing. Alright, then the GRE location is, let's give the JDK location. This is where our JDK is, so let's give that location. PWT under here. Log level finest force means if the directory already exists, the OSB directory, even then install it into that directory. That's what this force means. So your installer script is ready. Go ahead and install it. My install.sh. Something went wrong. See this thing here. One is certification validation. This is not certified for 6.4, so that failed. But our installer failed for a different reason. So this one, specified middleware home location does not exist. Middleware home Okay, this does not exist, that's what it says. Let's create it. I have created it. Oracle middleware 2. Let's go ahead and run it again. It failed with the same reason. I think it's looking for an existing middleware home. I'm going to give this middleware. The response file. I gave the existing middleware home. Oracle home location specified is not inside middleware home. Provide a valid location of Oracle home. This is not working, so we have to again reinstall that. It's looking for all those Weblogic installation, everything inside that. So that's why it's failing. So it says Oracle and Weblogic and OSB have to be in the same location. Means it has to be in here. It's not picking up the middleware from this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly install Weblogic in here. Alright, middleware 2. For that I'll require Weblogic. Okay, here we go. I'm going to install Weblogic. Whoa. I'm installing Weblogic again. During Weblogic installation, I'll specify the middleware home is the new one, middleware 2. Okay, this is installation. Create new middleware home. This I want to give 2 here. Okay, option 1, middleware 2. Next, option 3, I don't want any security updates. Receive security updates, no. Do you want to bypass? Yes. Move on to next. I'm going ahead with the typical installation. on to next, next, next. And okay, so our Weblogic is done. Now I have a new middleware home. Let's go ahead and install that OSB. This one VI custom middleware 2. Our Weblogic is also under middleware 2 this time. We have installed Weblogic fresh. So this time everything seems to be in order. Go ahead and install it. This is a failure here. This is a known failure. We know the certification part can be skipped. We are on a higher Red Hat version than certified one, so that will be backward compatibility. Okay, this SY installation is done. Let's go ahead and create an SY domain, the last thing. Now for the SY domain creation, again we're going to do a GUI based domain creation. So I will launch Xming. Just give me one moment, guys. Okay, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and export the display and initiate the domain creation in GUI mode. Launching the Xming. Alright, this one. So the Xming server is running here. Let's go ahead 3 with X11 forward, X11 forward display. Code ID. Oracle middleware 2. This is where we have installed. See this one. These are all created just now. Alright. We have installed OSB in here. cd to OSB common bin, just like SY. Launch the config.sh. Instead of SY, it's OSB. Okay, this is the configuration wizard. Right, let's create a new domain here. We won't be installing Oracle Service Bus OWSM extension. We'll be installing Enterprise Manager, Oracle Service Bus. That's it. Nothing else. The prerequisites, we'll be installing GRF and the advanced web. So this is the prereqs, means when you install, when you select Oracle Enterprise Manager, this gets selected. Oracle Service Bus is one thing that we want. Alright, that's it. So let's go ahead and create the domain.
Anil, do we need EM for OSB even?
We are just selecting. Not really required, but we're just selecting it. So let's say Osb Domain. The admin username password, let's call it encode ADM 123, encode ADM 123. 1 minute, guys. Okay, let's go ahead with production. Next. We're not actually doing any reporting stuff. See this one, OSB JMS reporting provider. If you want the reporting statistics of OSB, then you need to actually run the RCU, create that SOA infra, right, and then link this reporting provider to the SOA infra. So we're not going to collect any reporting metrics. So this screen, we're pretty much moving on to next without doing anything. To move on to next here, everything except the last one. This is the admin server, OSB admin, let's say 192.168.128.3, it's on. The port number, let's say give anything you want. I think we are running on 10,001 for SYA. Let's call it 11,001. On to next. This domain is going to have only two servers. One is OSB admin, other one OSB managed server. On to next. We don't have any OSB cluster, so the UDDs are not really required. The OSB server is the additional managed server on this domain. So let's go ahead and create 192.168.128.3. The listen port, let's say 11,100. Let's go. Admin is 11,001 and managed is 11,100. There are no clusters, so we're going to skip past this. No machines. These things as usual. Don't change anything here. On to next. File stores created. Okay, the domain creation is done. So we have the OSB domain created. Let's start it. Oracle middleware 2. User projects domains. This is our OSB domain. Let's go to bin. I'm going to copy a couple of scripts from SYA to OSB, the wrapper scripts. Oracle middleware, user projects, domains, copy. Oh, the admin is not there. So server 2 to this directory. The wrapper scripts is what I'm copying. The admin wrapper script, I'll copy it from here. Oracle middleware, user projects, domains, and code B3 cluster. Bin SCP start admin to 192.168.128.3 on this location. So that is ready. Just have a look at it. Domain is different, so let's open it. This is our domain file. Start admin.sh. Remove this and put our new domain home. Okay, this is okay. Then let's rename that start server to start OSB. Start OSB.sh. Start OSB.sh. This is gonna be OSB underscore server. 1, I think this is. Server 1. Alright, we're good to go. Let's start the admin server. It will fail. We did not put the boot.properties. Let's put the boot.properties -p servers security mkdir-p servers. Security does not exist. mkdir osb underscore server 1. Now we have both the directories for both the servers. Let's create a security folder. Osb admin security mkdir-p osb server 1 security. Create a boot.properties, copy it everywhere. Username equal to encode_adm, password equal to encode_adm123. Copy this boot.properties to both locations. This one to this one. Okay. Remove this one. Remove this boot.properties from here. So under servers location we have both, and the boot.properties is set up. Let's go to bin, start the admin server this time. Let's just look at the log file. Failed, obviously. Authentication denied must be the error. Authentication denied because we did not put the boot.properties. So let's go ahead now, start the server. While this is coming up, let's log into. Okay, let's just see what's happening. Let's go through the log file while it's coming up. It's slightly different from our SOA log file. Nothing significant, but just have a feel of it. Okay, admin is up. OSB admin. Let's start the OSB server. I think it's going to fail because we did the server name OSB server 1 does not exist. What's the name of our server? SY cluster. Why is it SY cluster? Whoa. What is happening? Why there is a SY cluster in config.xml of OSB? We messed up something, guys. Config.xml. The domain name it says encode v3 cluster. That's very good. This I think has caused a problem. Connected to the wrong domain. But 7100 there's nothing running on this one.
A port is different, I mean, IP.
But IP is one thing. Config.xml changed. Don't know why it changed. 1001. OSB server is not there at all. This is gone. The config.xml, if you say, the name of the cluster is different. When was this overwritten? 1315. You see, just now it was overwritten. Messed up. I pretty much don't have a backup also for this one. This is gonna fail. Let's see. See, this manage server thinks that the names of the servers are these three. The admin pretty much discarded it. What's the name of the admin server? When we started the OSB server first time with the wrong information, I think it overwritten the config.xml. You see, the name of the admin server it thinks is encoded. This is wrong. as OSB ADM. Basically our OSB domain has been overwritten. We have to recreate the OSB domain. We don't have a backup. That's pretty bad. Can't fix it. This is messy. The config.xml is completely gone. See? Source over 1. I don't have source overs in here. Okay. I'll have to recreate the OSB domain again, guys. I'm going to do one thing, guys. I'm going to stop it here for today. I'm not feeling really good. This throat infection is killing me. We will do this domain creation again one more time, and then we'll integrate with SY cluster. Is that okay? Guys? Okay. I think the videos also, some of you have asked me. I could not fix those videos also in the weekend. I'll try to do it today and upload all those, fix all those videos and then upload it again. Alright, and this OSB thing we'll do tomorrow. Same time, we'll recreate the domain again and then we'll try to integrate this podcast.
Sunil, to fix it, basically we go and delete the servers, under servers those admin and manage server folders.
No, it's not going to fix that easily. The problem is the config.xml is overwritten. You see this config.xml?
Config. Okay.
So now your domain.
Basically you have to create the domain.
Yeah, we have to recreate the domain because we don't have a backup of this domain.
Okay.
Why it probably happened is when we started the server first time, OSB server 1, it actually went and brought that encode cluster related config.xml and overwritten here. And so we did not change some of the parameters in that startup script. The admin is running on this box, right? If you see this one, let's state -grep for 7001. You see, not this one. Was it 7001 or 7100? The encode cluster admin server was running here. So our OSB managed server actually connected to encode cluster admin. It downloaded the config.xml of encode cluster domain. That's why it overwritten it. Why it connected was because we copied that startup script from encode cluster domain and we did not change the admin IP port. So it actually connected to the wrong domain. When it connected to the wrong domain, it downloads the config.xml and it overwritten it here. That's why in the OSB domain config.xml you are seeing everything related to the encode cluster domain. In the config.xml now, the options to fix it is either you extract the entire domain home for backup if you have. Ideally we should have taken OSB domain backup before doing these things, but we don't have OSB domain backup, so there's no way to fix it. We have to recreate the domain. Even if you change that config.xml, it's going to be really messy. Alright. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow. We'll continue with this domain creation again, and then the remaining part of integration. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, you can drop off, guys.
Anil, back to that cleaning up. So we take out the row from that node manager, sorry, like the properties file, like the what you call domain properties file, and then just delete the directory.
Which one?
Like to clean up the domain.
This one, OSB.
Yeah.
We can't clean up. The problem is, see this one here.
No, like you are saying you are going to recreate, right? So
right.
Basically, we go into that domain.properties.
Yeah. No, I'll remove this thing. That's it. Remove the directory.
OSB2 domain directory.
That's it.
But it also puts in that domain.properties. I think there is another file, right?
No.
No.
No, there's no file related. There is no overall list of domains anywhere. You simply delete this directory, your domain is gone. There is no other location.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're going to delete this one tomorrow and recreate the same one and the same location. Recreate the same domain again. Okay, guys. Cool. I'll see you tomorrow, same time. Okay, guys. Thanks very much. I'm dropping off. I'll see you tomorrow.